Hello gamers, I am back for you with a new season of Memory of Chaos. And once again I want to show you how I beat it. The turbulence this time is called Adrift in Astral Seas, and what it does is whenever you get hit or remove some of your own HP, you get a buff called a memory imprint. Each stack is decreasing the amount of damage this character is taken. And at the beginning of each round, these imprints get removed and they damage the enemies. The more stacks you have on one single character, the higher this damage becomes. This buff of course complements destruction characters very well, especially our newest character in the game Blade, but I will show you how to beat all of this without even using any destruction characters at all. Since Daddy Svarog and his robot buddies are all weak to lightning, I definitely wanted to use Jingyuan and Tingyuan in the second battle here, which leaves Seele and Silverwolf for the first battle. Enemies in the first battle are also weak to imaginary, which is why I opted for Welt and Luo Cha here. The boss enemies in this battle are already weak to imaginary, and thanks to only having imaginary and quantum characters on my side, I can basically guarantee a quantum weakness with Silverwolf's skill on the bosses at any point in the fight. As usual, we want to get our energy up during the first wave, so we are ready for what's to come. Starting from the second wave, we are facing one of these Disciple of Sanctus Medicus boss enemies here. These guys, if you don't know them already, they are able to summon minions, and whenever there's a minion with a revival buff on them on their side of the field, the boss enemy also gets a pretty big lifesteal buff. There are several ways to deal with this lifesteal. One thing you can do is you can obviously just kill the ads so they lose their revival buff. You can also dispel the lifesteal buff with a character like Pella or Luo Cha. And last but not least, you can simply overpower the boss by continuously breaking his toughness gauge, by delaying his turns, or whatever you can think of, so he basically never even gets a chance to attack you and use the lifesteal. In the last wave, we are facing one more of these Disciple of Sanctus Medicus enemies, as well as a Void Ranger. I consider the Sanctus Medicus enemy to be the bigger threat, so I'm going to completely focus on that guy first. Even though we are not using a tank in this team comp, I'm actually feeling pretty confident with the amount of crowd control that we have. Thanks to Welt, and of course the insane healing that Luo Cha provides, which most of the time doesn't even use any skill points. So with that, Silverwolf and Seele are pretty much almost completely free to just, you know, do their job in killing the boss enemies here, and there's really not too much for me to worry about. In case you're wondering about why I'm never talking about the turbulence buff in this first battle, it's because I literally did not care at all. The turbulence buff, while it is pretty nice for destruction characters, I feel like this time around it's more like a defensive kind of buff. Even though of course it does deal a bit of damage at the beginning of each turn, and it potentially could be a lot of damage if, you know, you have one character that has a lot of these imprints on them. But to be honest, I never felt like I really needed that additional damage. And yeah, you know, I don't really care too much about defensive buffs right now. Especially with this team comp, I am like completely focused on just taking down these boss enemies as quickly as possible. And you can see that Luo Cha, you know, with his insane heal, he takes care of our party, and I really do not need any additional defense here. The boss's HP is pretty uneven, as you can see, but, you know, that is exactly what we intended. We really wanted to focus on the bigger threat here, because we are running a single target damage combination here. Yeah, I'm using the ultimate on the other guy here because I consider it to be a waste. Unfortunately, no crit anyway, so didn't even matter too much. But yeah, So, now we are only dealing with this one single Void Ranger here. And this poor guy, he basically stands no chance at all against our team. So, we are just going to slowly but surely take this guy out as well. And that is it already for the first battle. No destruction character needed, no special attention paid for the turbulence buff, just straight up out-damaged the enemy bosses here. Easy peasy. Alrighty, the second fight. So this time we are facing Daddy Svarog and his robot boys. Probably a quite scary boss for a lot of people still. I still remember those times as well, you know. Simulated universe Svarog, his hand buddy just grabs one of your most important characters at the exact point when you really do not need that. Oh yeah, man. The feels. Good times. Anyway, so obviously with our erudition setup here, we are making short work of these ads on the first wave. And this time I'm actually caring a bit about the turbulence buff. Yes, it is happening. So this is actually why I decided to use March. Well, March is pretty much amazing in any kind of way, to be honest, but especially with this turbulence buff we got in the current version of the Memory of Chaos, she is also extremely useful once more because of her shield that, you know, basically raises the taunt value of a character as well. So basically when I put a shield on March, she is not only going to do her usual, you know, countering, she's not only going to be insanely tanky, but since she is most of the time the one that gets hit, I'm also making sure that she gets a lot of these memory imprints, and that, if you remember from the beginning of the video, and that means that not only does she take even less damage, so basically nothing at all, but it also gives me a chunky amount of additional damage at the beginning of each turn, which is when these buffs get removed from her, and then, you know, you're basically dealing some damage according to the height of these stacks to all of the enemies on the other side of the field. With March and Natasha keeping us safe and Tingyun buffing my DPS character here, we had basically no problems getting to the last wave here. So, but now we are dealing with not only this guy here from the second wave, but also with Svarog himself. To be honest with you, I'm really not too worried about our survivability here because, you know, if Svarog grabs Natasha, I think March will be enough to keep us alive. If it is the other way around, if March gets grabbed, I'm pretty sure Natasha can keep us alive. I think the worst case scenario really is if Svarog decides to continuously grab Qingyuan, because that would just, you know, that would just be basically a big waste of time. And if I get some really bad luck, that might be, you know, that might be a cause for me to not get all 3 stars, which of course would be really sad, but let's not hope for that. So let's just keep buffing this guy up, let's keep dealing damage. Luckily I don't really need to decide which enemy I'm focusing on, since, you know, we have erudition, we'll deal big amounts of damage to every single enemy on the field. And as long as nothing really unexpected happens, we should be easily getting these guys down over time. Okay, so he grabbed March. That was actually the best thing that could happen, because, well, she's not going to go down, and okay, we are breaking the hand here anyway, so she gets freed immediately. Not too much trouble. Yeah, the only thing I sometimes need to pay a bit attention to is the speed management between Tingyuan and the Lightning Lord slash Qingyuan. My Qingyuan is actually quite slow. I would actually love to have him a bit a bit faster, but you know. Basically, I didn't spend enough time relic farming for the guy, so yeah, he's a slow bro. He's a slow bro. But yeah, luckily, thanks to Tingyuan, best waifu in the game, by the way, I can make up for that with, you know, she has the dance light cone, which helps speeding up people. And she also helps with the energy regeneration. So even though Tingyuan is not quick enough to always get his 6 stacks by himself, most of the time it does work out thanks to the help of Tingyuan. Those two are probably one of the best duos in the game right now. They just complement each other so well. Yeah, I also feel like I say this in every single video, and I probably do, but look at how much work March 7 does. It's actually so crazy to consider that she's a 4-star unit. She has so much break, she has the freeze, she has the shields, she gets rid of debuffs, she does so much work, it's actually crazy. Yeah, and slowly but surely we're getting these guys close to 0 health. Svarog definitely the tankier guy of the two. That's also why you probably see me a lot auto-attacking Svarog instead of the other guys, because I figured, oh yeah, well, he's probably going to survive a bit longer, so, you know, whenever we have some leftover damage, we should apply that to Svarog. Okay, so there's another hand. Let's see what happens here. Okay. So there we go. That's the worst case scenario. That is the worst case scenario. A fresh hand with no toughness damage at all yet grabs my DPS character. So this is going to get a bit troublesome now. But now you can see what I was talking about earlier. Like, if you get really unlucky and the hand just keeps grabbing your DPS character, then you're just wasting a lot of time. Like, even if you manage to stay alive, it just wastes a lot of time, and you don't want that to happen, because you want to beat this as quickly as possible to get all of the 3 stars, right? So right now I can really not do too much. I guess we just have to wait until the hand lets go of him by itself. Which I think is going to happen before we can break the toughness. Let's see here. And boom. Yeah, okay. So, okay. So Tingyuan is free again. Good thing he didn't die. So, let's get into the final few steps here. This is probably going to be the final turn. Yeah. Lightning Lord should finish this fight up. There we go. And that is Memory of Chaos 9 for you. 25 remaining cycles. Not too bad. Pretty quick. For the end of the video, let me do a quick character showcase where I show you all of my characters, all of my stats, the light cones, the traces, the relics, and of course the eidolons. So you can see that there's nothing too crazy going on. I'm not really spending a lot of money on the game. I am buying the Express Pass ticket and the Battle Pass, and that is it. In case you want to take a closer look at any of the specific stats, feel free to just pause the video at any point here. Of course, if you guys have any questions, any criticism, any kind of feedback or whatever, feel free to post them below the video. I am always happy to answer anything that's posted there. Maybe let me know how you beat the Memory of Chaos. I'm sure there's many different team comps that work just as well as mine, if not even better. So that was Memory of Chaos 9 without any blade, without any destruction characters. Memory of Chaos 10, by the way, is already in the making as well. I did clear the fight already. It's just, you know, there's some commentary I need to do, some cutting, some editing I need to do with the video. But that one is going to come out really soon as well. So, yeah, feel free to stay tuned for that one as well. And maybe I'll see you there as well. I am having a blast making these videos, by the way, so thank you guys so much for all the attention that they are getting. I'm really happy about, you know, being able to share my experiences and my knowledge with this game that I grew to like so much with you guys out there in the wide world. And yeah, what else can I say but thank you guys so much, and I hope to see you back on the next video.